when we talk about Christians, and please don't get me wrong, I am not claiming to be the best Christian out there, nor do I claim that I don't sin. But it has been a question, maybe because it's very close to my heart, being a former child bride from Iran. How do Christians in America justify? I understand we blame the Democrats, we blame the rhinos, all of that, but every American in their own home can play a role in protecting our children and saving them and stopping the growth of this trillion-dollar industry. What happened to God's children aren't for sale? Where did Christians fail? When did they forget that?
Well, I think that the church has gotten watered down. I think they've listened to the fake news, and you have pastors behind pulpits that don't want to get into politics. They want to be idle. They're more concerned about the tithing and keeping their audience or their people that come to their church pacified. There's nothing in our Constitution says that there's separation of church and state, and they use that all the time. And they don't want to get involved. And I think they have to get involved for such a time as this, because if we don't, look what's happening in the world. Evil runs. And if we allow evil to run in our government and make these decisions, especially around the children, look at all the innocent children that were killed in the womb. Look at all these innocent children that are being trafficked throughout the United States of America and the world. If you can't put in your heart and stand up for children, I don't know what you can stand up for.
Exactly. And early on, you mentioned that when you received God's message, you asked to be shown in the Bible the story of King David. And that's my point. I understand the politics, I understand the churches, I understand the pastors, but I guess what I don't understand is, aren't people picking up their own Bibles and reading it? Are they just relying on their pastor to translate and tell them what to do?
Well, that's a very good point. They're not getting into the Word of God. They are listening to their pastors, and they're saying they're getting all the Word of God from the pastor, and the pastor is translating that. And unfortunately, they've gone to what I call cemetery. That's why the Lord told me not to go to seminary. He wanted to teach me Himself. Is because whether they know it or not, they're getting some sort of man's doctrine in their teaching that takes them away from the Word of God. And it's really, really hurt the church. And it's if each person, God has given an opportunity for us to know Him personally. He doesn't want us to go through an intercessor. He doesn't want us to go through a pope. There's nothing wrong with being a Catholic or a pastor or a prophet. You go directly to the source. When He said tetelestai, and that curtain tore in half, that means we had access to the high priest anytime we want. And the only way to get a hold of him and in touch with him is through his word. That's how he speaks. And that's what Satan's tried to do, is delay and distract the church by saying, I don't need to get into his word. I'll take so-and-so's word for it. I'll get enough of the Bible through my pastor or my priest or whoever it may be. No, that relationship's between our heart and his heart.